Hello everyone, my name is Yiwei Chen. Today, I will present my study on cyberbullying and suicide intention among international students at the University of Malaysia. In this presentation, I will explain the research background, objectives, missions, key findings, and the main implication of my study. Cyberbullying has become a serious issue in the digital age. Unlike traditional bullying, it can happen anytime, anywhere, and often don't know who is it. Many studies show that cyberbullying causes serious mental health problems such as stress, anxiety, depressions, and suicide thoughts. For international students, these effects may be strong because they already face cultural adjustments, language barriers, and society isolation. Although many studies have examined cyberbullying and suicidal intention, there are two main gaps. First, limited research focused on intentional students in Malaysia. Second, many studies examine psychological factors separate, not together. Therefore, it is still unclear how stress, anxiety, depression, and emotion exhaustions work together to explain suicide intention. This study aimed to fill that gap. The research has four main objectives. First, to examine whether cyberbullying influences suicide intention. Second, to analyze the relationship between psychological factors and suicidal intention. Third, to test whether this is psychological factor acts as mediators. Finally, to explore how these mediators are related to each other. The study is based on cyberbullying is treated as a major stressor, and we used a quantitative cross-sectional survey design. Data were collected through an online questionnaire. A total of 546 international students at the USM participated in this study. All variables were measured using established and reliable scale, and the data were analyzed using SPSS version 27. Most respondents were highly aware of cyberbullying, and many knew someone who had experienced it. However, active victimization in past months was relatively low. Classmates and course-mates were the most common perpetrator, and social media was the main platform for cyberbullying. This showed that cyberbullying may happen within student social and academic circles. The correlation analyzed shows strong positive relationships between suicide intention and all psychology variables. Among them, depression and emotional exhaustions had the strongest correlations with suicide intention. Stress and anxiety were also strongly related, and all mediators were highly interconnected. This suggests that psychological distress doesn't occur alone, but develop as a group. From the correlation results, we can say that suicidal intention is not weakly related to mental health factors, but very strongly related. For example, the correlation between depression and suicidal intention is 0.927, which is extremely high in social science research. Emotional exhaustion also show a very strong relationship with a correlation of 0.882. Stress and anxiety are also strongly correlated with suicidal intention, and all results are statistically significant. This suggests that suicide thoughts among international students are closely linked to multiple forms of psychological distress rather than a single fact. When we move from correlation to regression analysis, the results become even clearer. The results show that depression was the strong predictor, followed by emotions exhaustion. Stress and anxiety were statistically significant but showed negative coefficient when other variables were controlled, such as indirect or buffering effects. The regression model explained 87.2% of the variance in suicide intention, which means the model has very strong explanatory power. Among all predictors, depression is strong with a standardized beta value of 0.942. This shows that depression plays a central role in increasing suicide intention. Emotional exhaustion is the second strongest predictor, indicating the long-term emotional fatigue also contributes significantly. Interesting. Stress and anxiety show negative but significant coefficient when other variables are controlled. This suggests that the effects may be indirect or that mild stress and anxiety could trigger compelling response. But when combined with depression and exhaustion, the risk increased. These findings show that cyberbullying increases suicide intention mainly through psychological distress, not directly. Depression and emotion exhaustion are the most critical risk factors. Therefore, universities should not only focus on stopping cyberbullying, but also provide early mental health screens, counseling advice, and emotional support, especially for international students. So, back to conclusion, cyberbullying is a serious mental health issue among international students. Its impact on societal intentions is largely explained by stress, anxiety, depression, and emotion exhaustion. This study highlights the importance of addressing both online behavior and psychological well-being in higher education. That's all. Thank you for your attention.